Hey there friends, it's Kodiak here and welcome back to Legacy Gaming and another video about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. If you guys missed our previous video where we dove in and broke apart the first ever gameplay trailer, definitely give that a watch because we're not going to rehash everything we talked about in that video. You come to the channel for straight shooting, not a bunch of recycled nonsense, so give that a watch before we dive in today. What I want to talk about is a good smattering of new information about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. After the gameplay reveal trailer, members of the dev team sat down with Gamespot to talk about the game, and while they played coy about a lot of things, we actually picked up on a couple of key points. I want to start with character customization. We already know that race and physical appearances can be manipulated, but we learned that so can the voice and personalities of the characters we're creating. They didn't go into incredible detail about this, but just said that all of these options are independent of the skills within the game. You can make your character however you want within the limitations of the customization system, and that won't have any implication on your playstyle. They also hinted that personality is going to come into play a bit more, so it's something we'll have to pay attention to as we approach launch. Because there are no specific characters, that means no character-specific loot. The developers pointed towards a more fluid gameplay system where players could build towards whatever playstyle they want. There are 6 classes, and at the start of the game, players will be locked into one class, but later on, players will be able to assign a second class. The devs didn't go into any class-specific details. We don't know what's going to be in the game, new or returning, but there is no restrictions on what 2 classes you blend together. And each of those 6 classes will have its own unique skill trait. They even took it one step further and revealed that once you beat the main story, you'll be able to reassign the second class. You won't be able to respec both classes, which, as you can probably figure out, is their way of giving players a reason to make a new character and start from scratch. On top of the traditional skills and skill points, you'll have hero points, and this is going to act as the game's attribute progression system. The devs confirmed that strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, and attunement will all be stats within the game that players can allocate points into to help them raise their power level. As you'd expect, these will be independent of skill points. The only attribute that will live outside of the hero point system is luck, which is tied more towards the endgame content. The luckier you are, the more endgame content you do, the greater your chance will be for higher rarity loot. No word on how to obtain more luck, but I would venture a guess that it all ties into the endgame systems. Changing gears, let's talk about the world. We saw what looks to be a board game style perspective during the gameplay trailer, and that, the developers said, will act as an overworld. Much like playing D&D, your character will move between areas using this system. The overworld acts as the connective tissue between all of the first-person content, but there are a few surprises in the mix, such as dynamic encounters. Think Pokemon, where you're moving along and all of a sudden you run across a random enemy. The devs also revealed that there are 5 optional maps that players can explore that are all connected to the main story, but independent. It's hard for me to wrap my head around just how much content there actually is in the game, and that's something I don't want to jump to any conclusions about. I hear short main story and 5 optional maps, and I don't get this sense of grand adventure, but remember, this is a standalone game, not some Borderlands 3 DLC, so I think there's a lot more we don't know about just yet. What we do know is that there is a story in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and it takes place right after the Assault on Dragon Keep DLC from Borderlands 2. That was something we talked about in our first Wonderlands video when the reveal trailer was, well, revealed. Tiny Tina is 13 again, and the devs really lean into the fact that she is in control. She's the bunker master, and things are going to change on a dime because she's calling the shots. I think this is going to make for some seriously wild encounters and really give the developers the freedom to do a ton of crazy stuff. I mean, I honestly can't wrap my head around it. Changing enemies, randomly teleporting to new worlds, the sky is the limit. We're going to have to wait and see how far this stretches, but I'm excited nonetheless. We couldn't end a video without talking about some of the actual systems within the game. You guys know that we're all about great gameplay systems here, and while the devs didn't give us much, we do have some stuff to talk about. First and foremost is the looter-shooter nature of the game. Wonderlands is going to feel immediately familiar to Borderlands 3 fans, that's what the devs said. The movement is on par with the faster-paced stylings of Borderlands 3, and other features such as the slide, ground pound, and clamber all make their way back into this game. What's new is a gap-closing feature the developers are calling a slide that allows players to automatically engage enemies that are out of melee reach when they trigger a melee attack, closing the distance and attacking. I think we saw this briefly during the trailer, but without actually knowing what's going on here, it's hard to say. Another change is the emphasis on diversity of loot as opposed to quantity of loot. The team is focused on creating more variety of high fantasy stylings instead of trying to reach some tick box number. That being said, procedurally generated loot is a thing in Wonderlands, so expect plenty of cool combinations of gear. And speaking of which, Joltdude broke down the Bunkers and Badasses board game to reveal the weapon manufacturers players can expect in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. For anyone curious, yes, the manufacturers are returning, but almost all of them have a slight twist in the name due to the nature of our adventure. It's a small detail, but it's becoming a staple of the Borderlands ethos, so it's hard to imagine a game without it. I do like that they're different though. That helps Wonderlands stand apart as its own thing, while still being closely aligned to the previous titles. So there you have it. Like I said, not a ton of new information, but if you're like us and excited about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it's just one more nugget of goodness to keep you going until the next interview or trailer drops. Livid and myself will be diving into the game on day one, and you better believe we'll be bringing you everything, from build guides to weapon breakdowns. So if you like our no-frills approach to content and you want to tag along for our adventures, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. We'll have plenty more to dive into ahead of launch, so don't miss out. We also invite you to join us on Discord. We've got a great community of around 7,000 members with a special section opening up just for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so check out the link below to join today. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here at Legacy Gaming and you want to help us out even more, you can now do so by becoming a member. For just a couple bucks, you're helping evolve the channel and take our community to that next level. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.